Live and Uncut, and I'm your host, or what you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet, John R. Heinis, and of course we're going to chat about the latest and greatest in Hudson County news. So first of all, a week ago, there was a town hall hosted by former Governor Jim McGreevey. Of course, he's running for Jersey City Mayor, and it was a fairly uneventful town hall for 2 hours. I mean, they talked about local issues and had a conversation about snow removal, clean streets, police response, basically local government. And then all of a sudden we heard from Leroy Truth. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what the significance is there. On top of that, something that I just came across last night, you guys probably know that for the past few years, the New Jersey Attorney General's office has mandated that all law enforcement agencies have to submit their major discipline reports at the end of the year. So I'm starting to go through those, and I have the reports for you on Bayonne and the Hoboken Police Departments, respectively. So we're going to chat a little bit about what was disclosed there. We're also going to talk a bit about the Mile Square City. They had quite an eventful quite an eventful meeting, I should say, last week. And over there, they did a few things, and they hired 2 new directors. They voted to have a DEP official talk to them about the Rebuild by Design project. And they also did the first reading of an ordinance that would allow them to license e-bike delivery drivers. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm also going to hear from a candidate for U.S. Senate. That's Dr. Patricia Campos-Medina. So all that and a whole lot more right after this word from our sponsors.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2720.
God willing, we ran a good town that controlled property taxes, was clean, and was responsive. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want to do that. I want to do what we share. And part of this is listening tour. I'm doing this all over Jersey City, is I want to listen to what people say. I want to know what your concerns are. I have my concerns. I'm more, what's your first name?
Cat.
No, I like your real name.
Sarita.
Sarita, I'm like Sarita, like live within your means, old fashioned, but I also want people to know what people's aspirational goals are. Like whether it's recreation or whether it's workforce housing or raise it senior housing or preserve the quality of life for Kayla or any of these issues.
First, do you know Justin Mercado?
Yeah.
Right. Did you know this has everything to do with
about the community.
everything of your election? I have tried, I'm at a public meeting. Stay back. This has to do with integrity, with
He's talking
Justin
about
McGreevy's
something
election.
about.
Justin Mercado is.
Can we just about Jersey City?
No, this is about your campaign. Justin Mercado is the campaign finance
I want
person
to
for
thank
Jim McGreevy,
everybody.
and
I'm trying to be generous.
he attacked me. Justin Mercado is Jim McGreevy's on the campaign finance committee, and Justin Mercado attacked me in front of Brian Stack, and Mr. McGreevy is running away from the truth here. And he is not McGreevy.
Oh, please, get out of here. Get lost.
He destroyed the time me. Get away from me. Back up. Back off. Back off. This is a question for you, Mr. McGreevy. one of his campaign finance committee people is Justin Mercado, who was physically
Cut, John Heinis. So I think that clip basically speaks for itself. I mean, again, up to that point, it was a pretty standard run-of-the-mill town hall meeting. Heard from probably 24 residents. I got there a little late, so it could have even been a few more. And that's the way it ended. So we're going to see what happens next in this Jersey City mayoral race, which is still 20 and a half months away, give or take. So, we got some time on the game clock, so to speak. And so that we're just going to keep our eyes on that. And there's plenty more to see, I'm sure. So let's move right on down to the Mile Square City. So first of all, let's talk about these e-bike delivery licensing ordinance. Now, this had some controversy. I mean, we heard, and I believe that I said on last week's program, the business administrator, and this was a dialogue that had been on social media prior to this coming out, that he said they were concerned about undocumented immigrants because a lot of them are delivery drivers in the Mile Square City, and they're claiming that due to fear of deportation, they don't want to go to police departments or government buildings. So that was something that we heard a few times at this meeting, but actually the first speaker of the night, at least on this topic, was none other than Hudson County Board of Commissioners Chair Anthony Romano, and he's also the Deputy Public Safety Director in Hoboken. So he said it's a form of protection by registering them. It's important that we do something to ensure the safety of pedestrians and the vehicle operators themselves. It's ensuring the protection of all. You hear it in the street constantly that something needs to be done. So that was a sentiment that we heard quite a bit throughout the evening. And we also heard some people that were not as enthusiastic about it. So for example, if we look, you see Bike Hoboken President Chris Adair, she's been very vocal about this on social media. She said this hastily written ordinance is not the answer. It's a headline grabber. E-bike delivery has revolutionized the way we get our food. Many of our essential delivery workers may not speak English or may not be documented. Table this ordinance or redraft something that's more thoughtful, that's more comprehensive. So just to go through the particulars briefly, now there's a $5 registration fee, and that's annually, so obviously not particularly expensive. And then there's also these tests, these written tests that they're going to offer in multiple languages just to review some local and state traffic laws. And there's also a $50 fine for anyone who violates this ordinance. And also then it's not going to be enacted until June, so there's a while to do some public education on this. At the end of the day, while a lot of time was spent on this, considering it was a 2.5-hour meeting, probably about an hour. It ended up passing pretty definitively on first reading, 7-2. Councilman at Large Joe Quintero and Councilman at Large Joe Doyle voted against. So, talking about the Mile Square, they also approved 2 municipal directors, as I mentioned. This one, there wasn't too much to talk about. I mean, this was more interesting the last time we had this conversation. You had Jennifer Gonzalez up to be the new Department of Climate Action and Innovation Director. And meanwhile, you had Diana Avias up to run the new Department of Parks, Recreation, and Public Works. So you remember that First Ward Councilman Paul Presenzano, who was also a key sponsor on that e-bike licensing ordinance. He had some questions about this, and he actually pushed pretty hard to get this tabled at the prior meeting, and he did, but he came out and said that after reviewing everything, he thought this was not really a problem anymore, so it ended up being a 9-0 vote for both new directors. Expectedly, Mayor Ravi Bala spoke in support of this. My administration is incredibly proud to promote 2 highly qualified and accomplished women, Jennifer Gonzalez and Diana Avias, to their respective departments. It is an understatement to say that their track record of success has been invaluable to our city's progress in a wide variety of quality of life issues. I look forward to working with them in their executive leadership roles, and I thank the City Council for their support. So with that, folks, we're going to take a break, but after we come back, I'm going to sit down for a few minutes with Democratic United States Senate candidate, Dr. Patricia Campos-Medina. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Growing up,
Hudson County View live and uncut. I'm still your host, John R. Heinis, and I'm here today with Democratic United States Senate candidate Dr. Patricia Campos-Medina. Doc, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So look, obviously, a lot has been made about this race, and when people talk about who's going to succeed U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, a lot of people, whether it's members of the public, activists, media, a lot of people act like it's Tammy Murphy versus Andy Kim, and you don't hear too much about yourself and Larry Ham. So, what do you think about that first before we really dive into things?
Well, I think it's important for Democrats and all citizens in New Jersey to pay attention to why the election is important. What are we fighting for? We're actually looking for the person who will play a big role in defending our democracy in the United States Senate. President Biden talks about how this is a moment that will define whether we have a democracy moving forward. And the Senate plays an important role on either standing with President Biden or opposing Trump if he were to win. So who goes to the United States Senate and who stands to defend the fundamental issues of Democrats really makes a difference. And that's why I'm in this race, because right now it has been an election about anti-Tammy or anti-Menendez, not about what we are for. And what we need to be talking about is what is this election about. And if we're going to replace Senator Menendez, who has been a stern supporter of some key issues, then let's have a discussion about those issues. And I have a record of being a Democratic activist, a progressive activist, a labor leader, a community leader, and my record extends up to any of those two candidates in terms of advocating for New Jersey and for New Jersey working families. So I am trying to turn this discussion away from just what we are against, but what are we for in New Jersey moving forward.
All right, so tell me, what are some positions that make you stand out from the two contenders, if you will? What makes you stand out? What are some things you support? What would you like to put up on the floor if you get elected?
Well, fundamentally, right now, right here in New Jersey, we're having a crisis of affordability, making the states more affordable by figuring out how we bring back more federal taxes to invest in New Jersey through our public education and through our public transportation, which we know here in Hudson County, and I lived here in Union City for a long time. I know the transportation and public transportation and affordable transportation is an issue for everyday families. So first and foremost, because I am the daughter of immigrants and the daughter of a janitor and the daughter of a housekeeper, I know what it is to live and try to figure out how to make ends meet, have an affordable home, how to figure out how to get to your job. I'm also a commuter. I commute to New York City to work, so I know that infrastructure investment will continue to be a priority for me. The other one is that I am a long-term advocate for workers. I being at the forefront of the Fight for 15 in New Jersey for paid family leave, for paid sick leave. So I will go to Washington, D.C. and continue to make sure that we actually increase the federal minimum wage so that New Jersey can stay competitive with our neighbors and bring back good jobs. Also, I will fight for reproductive health care for women and for our reproductive freedom. And specifically, the issue of Medicare for all is important because working class women don't just need the right to make their own choices about their reproductive health care. They actually need access to health care, and I will continue to fight for that.
So Medicare for all, obviously, that's something that Bernie Sanders brought up at least 4 years ago, maybe even more than that. But regardless, this is something that we've heard from, the far left of the party, if you will, and it's never really went anywhere. The bill in both the House and the Senate has never seen a whole lot of progress. So, I mean, what's your plan there to get that to actually have a pulse and actually get it through?
Well, I will say that, yes, Bernie Sanders, and I will say I was Bernie Sanders' co-chair in his last election. He has done a lot to advance the debate on what are the different areas of work that we need to do to improve Obamacare and to actually move more people who don't qualify for Obamacare into Medicare for all. The bill by itself, we've been working very hard to get sponsors. Now, this is a big difference between me and one of my opponents, Andy Kim. Andy Kim said when he ran for office that he was going to support Medicare for all and build on the progress that we had made. He never signed on to Medicare for all. Instead, he focused his time on doing fixes around the ages of our Medicare system. So I will go to Washington, D.C. and actually fight for Medicare for all and expanding the number of working class people who actually qualify for access to Medicare for all, because ultimately that's what we need to move to reduce the cost of healthcare for working class families. We have too many people indebted because they get sick and they cannot pay their bills. And rather than offer, which is a proposal that Andy Kim has made, to do low-cost loans to pay for your Medicare costs, we don't need that. We actually need to lower and tackle we need to tackle the control that insurance companies have over access to healthcare. So I will continue to figure out how to advance that debate and join hands with Senator Bernie Sanders, who has been a champion for this issue. And let me tell you, Senator Bernie Sanders actually was a champion for the federal minimum wage, the 5 for 15, when he ran for president. And now that's the base in every state of the country. So we are moving the fight to the attention by raising the awareness of voters that that's where we need to be.
Point taken. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this word from our sponsors.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2720.
Oh, yeah. Hudson County View Live, and I've got John R. Heinis, and I'm still here with United States Senate candidate, a Democrat. That's Dr. Patricia Campos-Medina. So now we have very slim majorities, of course, in the House and the Senate. So the presidential race is huge. Obviously, either party has a shot at taking control. I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
So let's say we get Republican control, regardless of who the president is. Don't you think the Medicare for all is almost impossible to pass at that point?
Well, Medicare for all is only one of the many priorities that I will champion in the United States Senate. I think there's many other issues that are critical for our democracy right now. For example, women's right to choose and reproductive freedom. We need one of the biggest fears that we have right now is that if we are to get a Republican Senate, that where our rights as women will continue to be attacked. The other thing is we need to keep the investment that President Biden has done on green energy, job creation, on our infrastructure, because that has spurred economic growth. If we do not take control and keep control of the United States Senate and the Congress, all the progress that we were able to do with President Biden since his being in office, that will halt. So one of our biggest priorities is to make sure that we have a Senate majority, a progressive Senate majority, so that we can actually continue to advance the priorities of President Biden. So another thing, if we, by any chance, that democracy is at stake, I said it before, there is, we need to energize Democrats to come out and vote. And the base, Black and Latino voters and women of color and working voters are important to make sure that President Biden wins. If those voters don't have a reason to come out and vote, this is what's happening, is we end up with Tammy Murphy on the ballot because there's no excitement on the base for a handpicked chosen candidate by party bosses. If we do not get a candidate for Latinos and Black and urban voters to go out and vote, we have a chance, we will lose New Jersey. And President Donald Trump has already said that he thinks he can flip New Jersey. So my candidacy, the reason I decided to jump into this race is because we need to energize those voters that have known Senator Menendez for a long time, but are disappointed where he finds himself at this moment. So Black and Latinos, urban voters who feel that it's time to move forward from Senator Menendez, but have yet to hear from a candidate they can vote for. I want to tell them that I am a candidate they can vote for because I have been in the trenches of fighting for the issues of that New Jersey cares about and that working people cares about and our urban communities cares about. So I am ready to take on the baton of the leaders of the issues that he was championing for us in Washington, D.C.
All right. Now, speaking of the party bosses, though, so check it out. Now, we have 21 counties, obviously, and we had some conventions. Obviously, we had the Monmouth Convention on Saturday. Andy Kim pulled off that upset. But it looks like either only Andy Kim or Tammy Murphy is going to get the lines. It looks like only Andy Kim and Tammy Murphy are going to raise millions of dollars. And if you saw my guest last week, which was Mayor Stephen Fulop, he basically said, when you look at the policies of all the candidates, they're going to be very, very similar. So people are going to be voting on personalities and who they know better. I'm paraphrasing. But so what's the path to victory for you here?
The path to victory for me is to continue to talk directly to progressive voters, to the Bernie Democratic base, to working class women, to women of color or union members, to Black and Latinos, to remind them that this is your election to vote. This is you demanding that the political parties actually pay attention to your concerns. So my strategy is to talk directly to voters and to continue to remind the Democratic Party that there is no excitement at the base for a candidate that was handpicked behind closed doors. Tammy Murphy has a credibility problem with the Democratic base, but she has the machine. Now, Andy Kim is a newcomer. He's a moderate Democrat. His positions are more aligned with the moderate side of the party. And we actually need to send to Washington somebody who will know where he will stand if we have to defend our basic freedoms against Donald Trump, if nationally Donald Trump, because the Republican base has more energy right now. So we need to energize our base, the coalition of working class voters, of Black and Latino voters, or urban voters. And right now, the party bosses don't have that luck. Because what you saw on Saturday in Monmouth County was a rejection of the party bosses in Monmouth County. That's the only election that is open for delegates. Not all the counties are open. So we won't have that kind of energy everywhere else. And I think that Andy Kim will have a hard time energizing that kind of opposition to the party bosses in places like Essex and Hudson County right here, because they don't allow us to actually be part of that process.
Yeah, there's no conventions.
Yes.
But on the point of Monmouth, I mean, you finished very distant third, right? So likely you're not going to get any party lines. They're probably going to split it 60-40, 50-50, whatever it ends up being. They'll raise $5 to $10 million. I mean, is sheer force of will going to be enough to compete with that?
I want to remind everybody that I only been on this race for 6 weeks as an official candidate. I have a long record of being a party activist and supporting all the candidates who are running, but it's my first time doing this, running for office. And yet, I am polling, 8%, and I was able to get some delegates out of Monmouth County. So to me, the more people get to see my message, the more people get to hear actual policy proposals that I have been advocating for 30 years as a candidate, they will still begin to gravitate towards me and actually force a discussion on the issues and what type of senator we want to send to the United States Senate to replace Senator Rob Menendez at this moment.
Doc, thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We got one more segment. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View live at a cut, John Heinis. So a few more before we call it a week, folks. So let's talk about this internal poll that we saw from the campaign of United States Representative Rob Menendez. Of course, that's the 8th district, and he's got a spirited challenger in the form of Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala. Had a great fourth quarter last year, outraised him by roughly $300,000. At least he has about $300,000 more cash on hand, and of course, it's been about 6 weeks since then. So that next report will be interesting. But again, we're talking about the poll here, and this internal poll says that Rob Menendez in a 3-way race that would include Kyle Jacey would have a 22-point lead on Ravi Bala, and then in a head-to-head, he's up by nearly 2-1. I believe that was 66-34. And then the most important part, arguably, is the 400 respondents that were polled by Target Smart. They're based out of Washington, D.C., of course. It says 77% of those respondents believe the son should not have to pay for the sins of the father. So let's see if that holds. I know Mayor Bala is out polling right now. I'm sure we're going to hear a different story. But right now, if this poll is accurate, it looks like Congressman Menendez is in pretty good shape to retain his seat. So obviously we're going to file that race closely, and we're going to book that debate in the immediate future. As soon as we have the details, I will tweet it out, email it out, put it on Facebook, Instagram. You guys will know right away. So with that, I talked about these major discipline reports. Let's talk a little bit what I wrote about in Bayonne. And again, every New Jersey Police Department under the New Jersey Attorney General Office's guidelines has to put these reports out annually. And theoretically, they're supposed to be up on the first of the year, but that never happens. Most departments, they'll have them up already, and it's not too late into the year. So with that, the most interesting one out of Bayonne, you had a guy that there were 9 incidents documented, and one guy was documented 4 times, and that was Officer Christopher DeNoble. They said he made a false report to the Aberdeen Police Department dating all the way back to June 15, 2020, and this was regarding his supervisor, who was a sergeant. They didn't name him. And they said he was untruthful or demonstrated a lack of candor while speaking to the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office during the investigation into the allegations. So he was charged with identity theft and making false reports to law enforcement, and he was supposed to give the department an update every 30 days. He didn't do that. He entered pretrial intervention, retired in September 2020 prior to discipline being implemented, and it was on the report in 2023 because he tried to appeal. He tried to return as an officer. He was unsuccessful, and that was made official in 23. And also, he had some issues with sick leave. So jump real quick to Hoboken. There was only 3 incidents. 1 officer resigned, which is already documented in 22. I would take an educated guess that he probably tried to appeal, similar to like what DeNoble did. This was police officer Matthew Eisler, and it wasn't finalized till 23, but the report doesn't explicitly say that. And we also saw a 20-day suspension for a Sergeant Stephen Krantz. That was during a motor vehicle accident where he apparently had a bit of a verbal altercation with a superior. And then police officer Leanna Palladino, who had a 60-day suspension on last year's report, had a just 9-day suspension over tardiness, though one of the incidents was quite interesting. It said that she straight up called the police desk and said that she was going to play hooky with her child. Obviously, that doesn't fly when you're on sick leave. So we're going to get all those other departmental reports up in short order, hopefully by the end of the week. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Hudson Media Group.